This is the first piece of evidence created by Officer Davies. I have put a red box around where he checked off yes under registered owner. And here's his signature. So what you put on this citation, you signed your name to it, and everything that's on it is true and correct to the best of your knowledge.
Yes, sir. Actually, no, sir.
No?
No, sir.
Okay. Explain what is incorrect on here. Do you need to see this to explain
No,
it?
I believe I know what is not right. Where it says, I believe, either first observed a location. I believe I have Highway 139 and Highway 130. Highway 130 is not the correct highway. It should be Highway 11.
Okay. So is that the only problem then that you're aware of that was on that citation?
Yes, sir.
Okay. This is the second piece of evidence entered by Officer Davies. Again, in the red box, he's checked off yes under registered owner. And once again, there's his signature. And we have date, everything else. At any time were you given proof of registration by me?
No.
Okay, this is also from the Hawaii Revised Statutes listed online. This is Section 710, 1015, false reporting to law enforcement authorities. Section 1. A person commits the offense of false reporting to law enforcement authorities if the person intentionally makes a report or causes the transmission of a report to law enforcement authorities relating to a crime or other incident within their concern when the person knows that the information contained in the report is false. Section 2. False reporting to law enforcement authorities is a misdemeanor. They have commentary associated with this, and I want to point this part out right here. This proscription would include cases where the crime or incident did not occur and where the report pretends to furnish information which the actor does not have. So in my case, the officer did not have any proof of registration, and that was actually an element of the alleged violation that he claimed he stopped me for. The alleged no license plates. There were plates on the back. They weren't license plates, state license plates, that is. However, part of the statute that indicates that you're required to display those plates indicates in no uncertain terms that that section applies to registered owners and registered owners only. So after viewing everything, quick review, you can see he selected that I was the registered owner. This was Officer Davies' appearance on March 30th, 2017, the very first video that you saw. Is that the only problem then that you're aware of that was on that citation?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So after he indicated that, he had the opportunity to correct the portion under where he had selected that I was the registered owner. Now, if he had corrected that, it would affect what he had used as probable cause, even though, well, that's a whole nother ball game. but it would affect his reason for stopping me. And his reason for stopping me involved allegedly seeing no license plate where one was allegedly required, and it's only required for registered owners, which is the whole purpose behind him checking that box. So the fact is, I'm not a registered owner, and that creates a problem, and these judges and the prosecution are protecting him on this. Okay, this is the second citation you saw, the one for the alleged traffic crime arrest. Again, it's undisputed he selected that I was the registered owner. That makes two separate pieces of information, two reports that he filed with that fact alleged, even though that fact was not true, and he knew it not to be true. And here it is again, finally, the officer acknowledging that he was never given any proof of registration by me. And in a separate hearing that occurred on December 7th, I asked him even more questions to make sure that there was absolutely no possibility he could have been given any false information about me being registered. And every single one of those questions, he answered that he was not given any information that I was registered. So here it is, one last time. At any time were you given proof of registration by me?
No.
So there you all have it. This officer has filed two separate false reports with information that he knew not to be true, and that information was used against me to get these unlawfully initiated cases going. And any of you that have been following my channel you already know like how sketchy this court and all the personnel have been. And I would appreciate it if you would all take the time to call this phone number right here. This is for one of the local media stations. They actually broke the news about corruption with the local mayor, basically using taxpayer money to pay for junkets, to pay for buying surfboards for people going to restaurants where there's hot chicks that hang around and provide company to whatever men he's engaging in, whatever political issues with, and probably even personal outside of politics. But he was cleared. Things are extremely corrupt in these islands, but if you bring media attention to this, it seems to have an effect on them, because I haven't had any more hearings before Judge Udovic, and that guy was in videos that went viral. I believe about close to 300,000 people have seen the video with him entering objections and then sustaining his own objections to my questions. And there's also footage of him shaking his head for the prosecutor, telling her when to object. And then when she starts to object, he cuts her off and then provides his own reason for the objection. So he was prosecuting from the bench. I haven't had to deal with him since, but I'm still dealing with Judge Freitas, and he's done things himself. He was the very first judge I came before. He claimed I had charges against me. At no point during that first hearing did the prosecuting attorney ever enter any oral charges or say anything other than these three words: "Yes, Your Honor." That was it. So there was absolutely no verified complaint. The citation that they used against me wasn't even sworn to by the officer under oath. So they're using something that wasn't even sworn to try to get me to plead to at that very first hearing. And I didn't have to come before Freitas again for many more hearings. I was pushed off to Udovic, but now I'm before Freitas again. And on January 4th of 2018, they arraigned me again, which was outside of the statute of limitations. The statute of limitations for the things that they were arraigning me for was 1 year. And the prosecuting attorney even stated the date of the alleged offense, and then had the date that he was entering the alleged brain fart. I'm sorry. I'm so tired here. He entered the alleged charges against me, and it was well over a month past the statute of limitations. I raised this issue. The judge just sat there. He didn't say a thing. You could see this in the one video. So I've tried to condense a lot of this corruption into some short clips here for those of you that don't have the interest or attention span for it. And I know there's a lot of dry parts. I'm usually sleep deprived in them. I can't help it, but I need your help with this. If you call these numbers here or mail them, preferably call them and get other people to call too. If I can get some attention on this and direct them to the videos, my YouTube channel is Legal Tyranny, and you can find it very easily. Just Legal Tyranny should pop it up right there. It is. And if I can get some media attention on this, it would actually really help me out. There's quite a number of videos on the things that they're doing over at that courthouse, which is just, it's incredible that they're doing it. This video is the full video where there's a number of things that shouldn't have occurred that occur in it, including the judge just straight up ignoring me when I indicate that they've already passed the statute of limitations. It's like I'm not even there. They just ignore me, and I raised it several times, and then we've got the issue right here where the Judge Freitas admits that he didn't even have a complaint before him. And if he didn't have a written complaint before him, and this guy, this prosecutor, Evans Smith, did not enter anything other than "yes, Your Honor" as words on the record, there's no oral charges. So there's no written charges, there's no oral charges. The Hawaii Supreme Court refused to touch this. They pretended as if everything was, like in order, and they will not touch this. So I need your help, guys. Give this number a call, please. Pester them, ask them, why they haven't covered this yet. I actually have contacted them myself over a year ago. I never heard from them. I've contacted 7 other stations. Contact your local stations. The public across the U.S. needs to see what's going on in these courts, and you all have to understand this is over a simple traffic issue. No one was injured. There was no unsafe behavior involved. The officer testified to this in one of the longer videos, and there were no contracts breached. So there were no torts, no injuries, and yet they're going through all of these shenanigans to try to basically just steamroll me, and especially to instill fear in me. They tried to get me, after this video where I had the officer acknowledge that he had not been given any proof of registration by me, I started to go into the fact that he had checked off those boxes, and they cut that hearing short. After that hearing, it was the first time after, say, 14 appearances or so, that the prosecuting attorney's office actually sent me a plea offer. They never even tried to offer me a plea offer before. It was all intimidation, just steamroll. But they sent me a plea offer, and I think they sent me that plea offer because they realized at that last hearing I had nailed him on the fact that he had filed 2 false reports. And on top of that, unfortunately, I'll get into this with another video, but the officer has engaged in perjury, and that's something that unfortunately falls to the discretion of the judge to decide, and we know how that's going to go. But the fact of the matter is, I'll lay that out in another video, and just help me out with this, guys. I haven't taken any donations. I would like donations. Nobody's given any. I need your help with this. If you guys want people to lead the way and try to change things with corruption so that things don't get even crazier, then you got to get behind people that are getting in there, putting in the work. I'm putting in the work. I've been putting in the work, and this is on top of having serious chronic health issues. And I would really like to be doing other things with my time, but if the people who have the ability to tackle these things do not tackle these things, you're going to wind up back at a point where officials are coming around, and a young couple, a guy has just proposed to a woman, they're going to be able to to go lay with his woman on the night of. You guys think that isn't possible? That was going on 500 plus years ago. That's the right of kings. That's the sort of position that they're putting themselves in, completely untouchable. They cannot do this. You have to nip this in the bud. So get behind me, give some calls into the station, look up some of the other stations, just Google Hawaii News Networks and find the contact us sections and contact them and do what you can. Spread this, please. I've put in a lot of work here, and I'm not looking for fame or anything. I didn't put my face up on any of these things for the longest time because I'm not interested in it. I'm just interested in getting the job done. So get behind me on this, and give me some support with this, people. I'd appreciate it. Happy holidays, and have a safe new year.